Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Niko's Comic Book Hauls and Reviews. I'm your host, Niko, and today I'll be showing off the books that I ended up picking up throughout the month of June 2022. I'll be getting into giving you guys some reviews on the books, letting you know my thoughts on the things that I've read previously or read for the first time as I picked them up throughout the month of June, and some of the things that I'm going to be looking forward to checking out for the first time that I ended up picking up. As always, this is on the Late Night Collectors community channel here. Check out our playlist, hit the subscribe button, all kinds of different comic related videos and hobbyist type content on here, including things for trading card game stuff and toys, showing off some of the toys that I've opened up here before, all kinds of different content here on our playlist on the Late Night Collectors community, the sister site of the Late Night Chat Network. Another YouTube channel that we do a bunch of different videos on with a bunch of friends of ours. So check it out if you're interested in all kinds of different things. But if you want that comic content, make sure to check out this channel as well as all the other things that we have to offer. I try to put out these monthly haul videos, as well as we have a show, me and my buddy Chris, that we do here on the channel called Comic Shop Talk, where we discuss the comic books that we've picked up and review them and give you our ratings and reviews and let you know what we're picking up week to week. That's more for the the single issue new comic book releases that come out every week. And this is more focused on collected editions. And yeah, so there you go. Please check that out. Make sure you subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, like that video, and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when these videos come out. These come out monthly. Comic Shop Talk comes out weekly, and it drops on Saturdays normally. So thank you. I appreciate everybody that checks these videos out. And without further ado, let's get into the books, shall we? Welcome back, everybody, to Niko's Comic Book Hauls and Reviews on the Late Night Collectors community. On today's video, I'm going to be showing off the books that I hauled throughout the month of June 2022, and I'll be giving you my thoughts and quick reviews while showing off the books on the things that I have read before, maybe previously, and then picked up the collected edition, maybe things that I've read for the first time throughout the month of June, and also some of the things that I'll be looking for. Welcome back, everybody, to Niko's Comic Book Hauls and Reviews on the Late Night Collectors community. I'm your host, Niko, and today I'll be showing you guys the books that I ended up picking up throughout the month of June 2022. I'll be showing off the books, letting you know like what's included in each one of them, showing off some of the artwork inside, as well as giving you my quick thoughts and reviews on the things that I have read before, maybe previously or for the first time throughout the month of June, and also some of the things that I've never read before that I'll be looking forward to checking out for the first time that I picked up. If you like this video here today, please hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit that notification bell whenever these videos and others that we do come out every month or weekly as they do here on the channel. Check out our playlists. Weekly, we come out with episodes of Comic Shop Talk where me and my buddy Chris discuss the new comic book release issues that come out week to week. And then we let you know what we'll be looking forward to picking up the following week. We give you ratings and reviews on the books that we've read, showing off some of the contents of those as well. And if you're looking for comic book collected edition stuff, then these are the videos for you. I put these out monthly, and this is where I kind of give you my thoughts and reviews on different things that I've read that I've picked up out of the collected edition stuff for comics. All kinds of different hobbyist content on the channel here, though. Also, there's some videos on toys and trading card games. So make sure you check out the other playlists that we have here on the Late Night Collectors community. If you like what you saw here today, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought. And thanks once again. Hit that like button and subscribe, guys. I appreciate checking out these videos, everybody who does, and it'll keep me continuing to do them and hopefully maybe do some more videos down the line. As I've talked about, I kind of want to maybe do a tour video of this, my comic book room here or something like that somewhere down the line as well. So, you keep watching them. I'll keep putting out this content for you guys as well. I'm enjoying doing it so far. And this channel has been a lot of fun. We are the sister site of the Late Night Chat Network, another YouTube channel of videos and podcasts that we've done. Me and my buddy JT and a bunch of our other co-hosts now that have joined the group since we've started. So if you're interested in all kinds of different things, definitely check out the Late Night Chat Network as well. But without further ado, since you are here for the comic book call, let's get into showing off some of these books that I hauled out throughout the month of June 2022. And yeah, let's get to it. All right. First off, I'm going to show off the couple of books that I've never actually read that I picked up throughout the month of June. Most of the things I have read previously that I ended up picking up, or I've read for the first time through this month. So there's only a couple books this time around that I'm actually looking forward to checking out for the first time. And one of them is the Thunderbolts Volume 2 Omnibus. I had read a bunch of the material that was in the first volume of the omnibus. They came out with like these complete collections, Marvel previously, of like, I guess it's the mostly the Kurt Busiek stuff that's within the first Omni. And this one has Fabian Nicieza and Mark Bagley, I guess, on art during this period of time. And I believe this is eventually, or maybe what's included in this one, or the third volume that's going to be coming out soon. I guess Hawkeye is running the team at one point. Again, I've never read this stuff, but I'm looking forward to checking it out. In this book, let's see what's collected here. It's collecting Thunderbolts of 34 to 63, Thunderbolts Annual 2000, Avengers 31 to 34, Avengers Annual 2000, Thunderbolts Life Sentences, Thunderbolts from the Marvel Vault, Citizen V and the V Battalion 1 to 3, and Citizen V and the V Battalion the Everlasting 1 to 4. So yeah, if I had to guess, the Hawkeye stuff might be coming up in the next omnibus that comes out, possibly. I'm not too certain. I mean, Kurt Busiek, this is when he's left the book, I'm sure. What's in this is mostly, I think, Fabian Nicieza, if I had to guess. And then also that the Avengers issues in here are probably the Kurt Busiek ones, because I know he was also doing Avengers at that time, right? So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this. Here's let's see, the spine of the book, volume 2, Thunderbolts. And this is the cover that I went with. Let's take a look at the inside. Take a look at some of the artwork in here. Oh, and this is under. Yeah, that's the under the dust jacket, which I hate. Hate those dust jackets. Not a big fan. There you go. There's the artwork. So, anyways, let's take a look at some of the art inside. I mean, Mark Bagley, I think, is pretty consistent in terms of what his art looks like. So, you know, kind of what to expect from him, even by today's standards. His style is very much, I think, always been like this. So, yeah, no, I'm not sure if this is when Hawkeye comes in or not, or if that's because they came out with 3 Thunderbolts paperback volumes, like complete collection type stuff. And then they came out with 2 volumes that were called Hawkeye and the Thunderbolts. Okay, so maybe this is when he joins the team and start. I think he ends up running he's like the leader of the team. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this. Thunderbolts as a team, as a concept, as a book, I really enjoy. I hope that with Kurt Busiek not on this one now, with Fabian Nicieza, despite me not being like I don't know, I can't say that I'm not a fan just because I haven't read a lot of his stuff from the 90s and you know, things that he's done. I know some people and really enjoy his stuff, some people not so much. So yeah, I do like the Thunderbolts though. I mean, I am a big Kurt Busiek fan, so that was another seller for me, for the fact that he was writing it during this period of time. He was doing a lot of really good Marvel stuff at that period of time. I mean, he did Avengers and a good run on Iron Man. So yeah, I mean, that was a little easier for me to kind of get into and enjoy for the most part. But I'm looking forward to this. I've heard this is still a good era of Thunderbolts, and I'll probably end up buying the 3rd volume of the Omnibus too. That's going to be coming out. I kind of want them to get to the point where they collect the Jeff Parker stuff, which is a lot of fun that he ended up doing. But that's not to, like, I don't know, issues 140, 50 or something like that till he gets on the book. So they would still have to collect a lot more, I think, to get to that point. And then there's Warren Ellis that comes shortly after. I think probably the contents that are going to be in the 3rd volume of the omnibus, maybe not even shortly after. But yeah, there is a lot of other good Thunderbolts type stuff that comes somewhere down the line. And you know, there's even that Charles Soule one that he did in like I don't know, maybe it's 2010. It's some time ago now, but he did a little bit a short stint on the book. Yeah, I do enjoy these teams full of villains or people that, you know, are not what you would expect on a team, essentially. So yeah, looking forward to checking this out for the first time. And then also at least for most of this, looking to check it out for the first time. This is the new Silver Surfer Epic Collection Parable. This is the Steve Englehart stuff, and looks like you got some other great artists on here. Of course, Stan Lee as well. Stan Lee and Mobius. That's the Parable story that's in this, which I have read. I mean, because I had heard about how amazing the art was on that, because Mobius did it, of course, from the Incal and other great, works that he's worked on. But yeah, that's kind of like the main draw, I would say, of this epic collection. If you've never read Parable, definitely pick this up just for that. There's a bunch of editions that it's come out in. It is nice to get it in more of an oversized format. If you were able to snag one of those, they did some sort of oversized hardcover of that story some time ago now, Marvel, maybe a couple years back, that I ended up picking up, and that was really cool. But yeah, Steve Englehart. This contains his actual the solo Silver Surfer series issues in here, 15 to 23, and annual 1 to 2, Fantastic Four 325. And then, yeah, it has the Marvel graphic novel Silver Surfer and Silver Surfer 1 to 2. The Silver Surfer 1 to 2 is Parable. And that Silver Surfer, the other one, I think is the John Buscema one, which is also great. Yeah. And that's he's on there. Ron Lim, of course. Yeah. And Mobius. Yeah. So there's some great artists. And then you got Marvel Comics Presents one. Yeah. Probably a story from there. There's some great artists in this one during this period of time. Like I'm this is definitely like, I won't collect all the Silver Surfer epics, but I'll definitely pick up the Englehart stuff through like the Starlin stuff. And then I've heard mixed things, but for the most part, positive things about the Ron Mars era that precedes that comes after Starlin. So yeah, that's probably all the stuff I'll end up picking up with the Silver Surfer, which is a good chunk of the epics. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Fantastic Four. Yeah, so I'm very much, for the most part, I haven't read the stuff in here, but I have read Parable, and I've read the Buscema graphic novel one that is in here as well. Let's take a look and see where that is. I don't know where that's located, but again, that one comes in like a Marvel graphic novel size um, format as well, because it was part of the Marvel graphic novels, and like everything's like double page spreads in it. Yeah, it is this one. Yep, this is Judgment Day. Yeah, this is great. I mean, again, you kind of lose something, I think, in the epic format, but this is a really good Silver Surfer epic. Like, I can't speak to like I said, the Englehart kind of issues in here. But this graphic novel and Parable in this epic, I mean, right there, that's, I think, worth picking up this epic if you've yet to read these ones, guys. Yeah, this came in like an originally like a larger format, came like a hardcover, and I think they also did a soft cover. Maybe like this is when they started doing Marvel graphic novels, like I think in the 80s. And I don't think this has been printed before prior to now, like reprinted in another format other than those. I might be wrong, but this is excellent. Like the art in this looks great. Again, in a bigger format, like there's a lot of double page spreads or full page type things but this is some of the best John Buscema has ever looked. It is John, right? It's not Sal. Yeah. Yeah, shame on me. I mean, yeah, it's John. Yeah, I mean, yeah, great visuals. And then I'll show off some of the Mobius Parable artwork here for you guys too. Look at that. Yeah. So that's worth it. Yeah, that's worth it right there. And then Parable as well. They got the Mobius art. And that is right here. Stanley and Mobius. Yeah, epic. It was originally epic. Yeah, so that's this stuff here. Again, I think it loses some of the detail and loses a little bit something at this size, but you can still appreciate the artwork and the stories that are told with the Silver Surfer. Yeah, some great stuff. So yeah, definitely check this out. Which epic is this? This is Epic 4 in the Silver Surfer collection. So I'm excited to check this out. Some of the stories for the first time, and revisiting some really great ones as well. All right, then we got Tukey. Now this is volume 2, Fight for Family. I think the first one was called Fight for Fire or something like that. Let me see here. Does it say here? No, I don't see it in the other. books here. I want to say that's what it was called. But anyways, uh and next up we got Tukey. This is volume 2, called Fight for Family. The first volume, Fight for Fire, I showed off probably in a haul video a couple months previously. This is, of course, by the great Jeff Smith, who created Bone, wrote it, and drew it. He's most known for that. He's done a few other things as well, Razzle, and I think he did a Shazam story for DC. So yeah, he's done some great stuff. I picked these up, because he's doing a new book. He doesn't do them all too often. So the fact that he had announced that he was going to be doing these, I definitely made sure to pick these up. I think this was originally he put it out through Kickstarter, and those versions are hardcover versions of this book. So now that they've re-released them in these paperbacks, he said this is volume 2 of 6. He wants to eventually do 6 of these total, telling these stories about cavemen, I guess, during this certain point in time. Yeah, it's great. This second volume though is way better than the first volume. First volume was cool. Don't get me wrong, it was nice. You're kind of getting introduced to all the characters, and the great cartooning is always to be expected by Jeff Smith, but I felt it was really, really light on kind of like what actually happened in the book. But in this one, there's a lot more action, very fast paced, action packed, and definitely left you kind of on a cliffhanger of sorts, where it was kind of like leaving. It kind of just ended, and it kind of left you wanting more. But I'm sure that more is going to be told with these characters throughout the other subsequent volumes if you ever gets around to putting them out. And so yeah, I really, really enjoyed this second volume. Yeah, like I said, even more than the first. So yeah, and then you got the kind of like the widescreen format for these books. So it's cool. Even the layout's a little bit differently. And by the way, guys, these are all going to be books now that I have read previously or for the first time throughout the month of June as I picked them up. So I've read this for the first time when I picked it up and really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, let's take a look at some of this Jeff Smith cartooning here. So yeah, I mean, whether or not he plans on kickstarting the other volumes in the series once he gets around to completing them, I'm not sure if that's the plan since he did that with the first two. But and when those volumes are actually come out. But yeah, I look forward to it whenever it does happen. So yeah, this is like I said, at this point you've gotten to know a little bit of the characters from the first volume, and in this one they kind of do some hunting. There's a lot of scenes of them like trying to hunt, and they run into some people that could take give them problems, let's say, while they're hunting, and they're trying to look for stuff and sources of food, and they definitely run into some other cavemen type people that are not too friendly to them. And they got to fight back. So yeah, it's a really great story, great art, better than the first volume. If the first volume left you a little underwhelmed despite like the good cartooning and you're like, I need more, definitely pick up this second volume. I think it's much better than the first. And it was a great, light, fun read. All right. Next up, we got Snow Angels Volume 2 by Jeff Lemire and Jock on art. And I remember talking about the first volume from Dark Horse. This was a Comixology original. It came out digitally first, and then Dark Horse collected them in 2 trade paperbacks. So this is the last volume. This is the whole series that they brought out, him and Jock. And I remember talking about the first volume and really enjoying it and being surprised at all the negative reviews that this book got online, especially for somebody like Jeff Lemire, who everyone seems to love everything he does. Um, I wouldn't say it's like his strongest work, but I did really quite enjoy it. And I did got a lot of bad reviews for whatever reason. This volume was good, but I didn't feel it was as good as the first volume, the way that this ended. I just felt like there could have been a lot more explored, and the ending could have added more than it did to the overall kind of narrative that they were, that they've been stringing us along with throughout this whole story. So I felt a lot of questions maybe unanswered or just that weren't really explained to my liking by the end of this. But overall, I did enjoy it still. It is going to stay on my bookshelf. I do like Jock as an artist. And I thought overall it was good. So yeah, I just don't think it was while I went into the first one knowing, like, I with low expectations, I guess, because I had heard a lot of negative things about it. This one just, like, felt more of the same, or just even a little bit less than the first volume. But overall, I thought it was a successful series, and I am a big Jeff Lemire fan, though. So I mean, you can take that as you will. Most things he does, I enjoy. So, yeah. Anyway, Snow Angels Volume 2. It came out from Dark Horse Comics. I think this is 1999. Yeah. I mean, again, this was put out digitally, so it's hard to determine how many issues this was, but it's probably like your regular 120 page type paperback, I would say, if I had to guess. Let me just see here if this says 145. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely at least like 6, 7 issues worth of comics probably in here. And speaking of Jeff Lemire, a book that I really, 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 really loved is May's book. Dark Horse came out with a standard size hardcover. I wish they made it an oversized hardcover. There was an oversized hardcover that's like a super deluxe one that's like $200 or something that Dark Horse put out, only available through their website. It was like some sort of exclusive, like numbered to 1,000 or something like that type of release through Dark Horse. Living in Canada here with shipping and everything else, that was going to be way too much that I was willing to pay for this book, despite loving the look of the book. So if you guys are interested in that, look online. There is a deluxe oversized edition of May's book. I'm holding out hope that they reconsider and put that out through a Diamond or somebody, like some distributor, other than ordering it direct from their website eventually. Even they may even put out library edition, because I know they have sometimes slipcase editions and then just regular library editions for some of their library edition type books through Dark Horse. So if they do something else, I'll probably give this to somebody, or sell it and then upgrade, on quite honestly, because I really, really enjoyed this. This is written and drawn by Jeff Lemire. And I loved this book. I read this in issues, and of course I was going to pick up the standard size hardcover. I just wish it had a more deluxe edition that was readily available through comic distributors, not through them directly on their website, because it's too expensive, I think, this one that they put out. But that all being said, this was a great book, guys. I mean, this has all the heart and family type of themes that you would expect from a Jeff Lemire book, especially some like more of his personal type of stories that he writes and draws himself. So yeah, I really, 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 really love this book. I think it's great. I mean, I think this is something he was working on maybe prior to the pandemic, but definitely through the pandemic, and then it came out through issues through Dark Horse. So it's about a guy who's dealing basically with the loss of his dead daughter, essentially. And they used to do mazes together when she was younger. And he gets it in his head that the city is a maze and his daughter is calling for him beyond the grave, somewhere in the middle of this maze. That's turns out it's the middle of the city. And he kind of goes, through his real life and through his head, essentially, like on this journey, I guess, coping with the fact that his daughter has died, and him just dealing with that, essentially, right? But he kind of finds his way, and there's a lot of crazy visual type stuff in here, like really cool use of this maze stuff, or the fact that he's following strands with this yarn through a maze and going through all the memories that he had of his daughter. And there's again, like I said, like visually, it's a very cool book. It's touching and heartfelt, and about family for sure. But of course, has some darker subject matter, in the sense it's a guy dealing with loss. But I mean, some people could relate to this, and if not, like, even so, I think it was a really well told story. So yeah, I can't say enough about this book. I thought this was great, and no matter what format it comes out in or what way you guys pick it up, definitely pick this up, because this is one of my favorite things he's done in some time, and just in general this past year, the things I've read. All right, next up we got What's the Furthest Place from Here, Volume 1, art by Tyler Boss, written by Matt Rosenberg. And this collects issues, I think, 1 to 6 of the series. Yeah, but it is a quite fat paperback because I believe the first issue was like oversized. It was probably like 2 or 3 issues worth of material. The first issue that had come out of this series. So yeah, it is a lot of pages. Like this is like probably double the size of a regular paperback from Image Comics. So I know I don't want to say it's 200 pages. It might be, but it's yeah, it's a big paperback. So I read this. I read the first couple issues and I dropped it, and then I was like, you know what? I like these guys' work enough. Matt Rosenberg. I like a lot of things he's written, and him and Tyler Boss did Four Kids Walk into a Bank, which kind of was the big thing that got those guys noticed years and years ago, I would say, in terms of the comic book industry. And so I'm like, you know what, these guys, I really enjoy what they do, despite me not loving or understanding. I think the first couple issues that I read of this, I was like, I'll pick up the trade if when it comes out, and I'll check it out that way in one big chunk. Maybe that'll help. There's a lot of cool things going on in this book, and the visuals are cool, but it's still like a very different and very weird, like post-apocalyptic storyline. Like they're definitely not giving you all the answers as you go. I think you got to take a lot. You got to kind of, there's a lot of things you got to kind of figure out for yourself or just take as is. I think as you and I don't know if it's just the storytelling, the way that they're the technique of storytelling that they're doing that's maybe a little bit lost on me, or even the way that the information is presented to us. But yeah, there's a lot of things I'm not really clear on, or maybe we're not supposed to, like that, things I don't understand. Like they live in some weird post-apocalyptic world, or there's factions of children, it seems like, set up throughout the town, and there's these weird people with like bags on their head walking around called the Strangers, and there's like each kind of group is like different in terms of their characteristics and their way of life and everything else, and you can't be an adult, and you can't have adults in your crew, it seems like, and the streets are just run by children. So yeah, like these guys, like they're dressed up and they got pig masks on, for instance. These guys are kind of like punk rocker type people, the guys that were mainly following throughout this and are lovers of music. And so, and but it's violent and weird and kind of like really really great art. Tyler Boss does a great job on the art on this, the visuals aspect of it. So there is a lot to like about this book, but there's just something that's not 100% clicking for me, but there's still enough where I'm going to continue with it. But I can't sit here and tell you that I absolutely love this book either. There's some things I don't quite get, but there's just enough for me to kind of probably continue and pick up the second volume and stick with it. So, I mean, that's not, I know the most ringing endorsement, but I got to be kind of honest with you guys. Maybe this is something you guys would dig more than I did. But there is something there that's interesting and well done about it enough that I think to still give it a look. If you're not sure about picking up the trade paperback, though, just maybe read a couple of issues online, or if you can find the issues, give those a try first. All right, then this is the first time I've read this. Actually, I read Matt Wagner's Grendel Omnibus Volume 1, which deals with, I guess, the Hunter Rose stuff, because there's different Grendels, I think, that are in each volume of the omnibus of all the collected material. And I'm a big Matt Wagner fan. I really like a lot of stuff that he's done. Um, Dark Horse recently, because I guess it's going to be a show on Netflix, is re-releasing these Grendel omnibuses. And the cool thing, though, is, guys, as you can see, is that this is a standard size trade paperback, though. Previously, what they had put out were Grendel omnibuses, and they were like smaller paperbacks. Like they were not hardcover omnibus formats, but they're always paperback. But like the scale of them was even smaller than, like, it's kind of like it was like a manga size type omnibus. So the fact that they are standard size being re-released like this, now they're going to re-release all of them, I guess, because of the show coming out. I'm really happy about that, because I'd rather not have the artwork shrunk in that other format for something that was brought out standard size originally. And the only thing that's about this volume, though, they only, like, the bookends of this and maybe like a couple of short stories in between are drawn and written by Matt Wagner, while everything else is written by Matt Wagner in this book. There's two anthologies, like 6-issue anthologies. So like for like this first, there's, like, yes, 2 6-issue anthologies that have all these fantastic artists. Like I'll go through the list, all these great artists though that work on the book. So no complaints there, and it's all written by Matt Wagner. So you'd think that'd be good, but on, like all anthologies, I'm not a huge fan of anthologies. Each story, it seems like they're trying to tell somewhat the same story about this character, and some of them aren't as good as others, and they're trying to tell the stories in different types of ways, like through poems or through text pieces and like the way it was presented. But it's almost as if they kind of were trying to tell the same story over and over, it seemed like to me. And this is a great value too. These things are Dark Horse, guys, like a lot of their great value books. This omnibus is like a 500 or 600 page paperback. Yeah, it's like just under 600 pages. And it's cost $30 retail US price, guys. And yeah, so it's a big fat paperback for $30 retail, man. Like, so that's, you can't get a better value than that. And yeah, so this one collects Grendel, uh opening with Wagner's definitive black, white, and red version of Grendel, Devil by the Deed, continuing with the award-winning short story anthologies Grendel, Black, White, and Red, and Grendel, Red, White, and Black. So those are the two anthology series. And then it closes with what I think is the best thing in the book, Wagner's longer Rose era adventure, Grendel, Behold the Devil. So I'm real that was great. And even the intro of the character was good. And some of the anthology stuff was good too. I mean, I think the anthology stuff is better for all the artists that work on those books. And I mean, there's an impressive list of great artists that work on these books. I mean, everybody and anybody you can think of that's a good artist during that period of time. And so, a lot still to this day. I mean, in this first anthology, let's see the list here. It's I mean, just to name a few: Tim Sale, R.I.P., just died. Mike Allred, David Mack, Troy Nixie, Tim Bradstreet, Guy Davis, Duncan Fegredo, Paul Chadwick, Hoche Anderson, John Paul Leon, uh, Chris Sprouse, like that. So that's just in the first anthology, and then the second anthology, again, there's another like murderers row of artists that work on the second one. Yeah, here's a list here. Matt Wagner worked on some of these. Jill Thompson, Cliff Chang, Mike Hawthorne, Tom Fowler. I'm not even seeing all the names either. Jim Mahfood, Kelly Jones, Phil Hester, Michael Avon Oming, Farrell Dalrymple, Stan Sakai, Mike Huddleston, Derek Robertson, Phil Noto, Ashley Wood. Like, yeah, like a crazy, like good amount of artists like in these anthologies. But for me, I would have rather some more solo stories written and drawn by Matt Wagner, who's also amazing. So yeah, it was kind of a mixed bag, this first omnibus volume for me. But you know, that last story was fantastic. Majority of the art and the stories in there were really good. So I'll be sticking with these omnibuses. I'm looking forward to volume 2, which is going to be dealing with a different Grendel. Again, never read these things before, so I'm not as familiar. But guys, if you didn't like the size of those other previous paperback omnibuses Dark Horse put out, or you're checking out Grendel for the first time, you can't go wrong for this price of this omnibus. $30 US retail for like, 600 pages of comics. Can't go wrong, guys. All right, now we're getting into some of the manga that I read and checked out for the first time this month. This is Crazy Food Truck Volume 1. This wasn't bad. This is only going to be 3 volumes, so I think the commitment is not crazy for this manga. I just thought the description of this sounded hilarious, and it was kind of fun. The only thing I didn't love about this story, to be completely honest with you, is that one of the girls that's like very naked in a lot of this book. They mentioned her age and she's like underage. Now, I don't know why they would say she was underage, or whether, there's no appeal there for me knowing that she's underage and very naked throughout this. Like, she's a good looking girl that he comes across that's very naked. And then they mentioned her age in this, and it's not legal age. So I'm just like, okay, well, that's kind of weird. And I know some people are into that, or in the reading that kind of stuff in manga, and I'm sure there's enough of it out there where they do that kind of stuff. But otherwise, I thought this was a lot of fun. It's about a guy that runs a food truck in like a Mad Max post-apocalyptic kind of scenario where people are dying of food or water out in the desert, and he's trying to come and deliver food to people. Also, like, he's heavily armed and he knows how to work weapons, and he can, he runs into some bad guys that he has to deal with throughout this story. And he runs into some girl that's on the run from the bad guys that he ends up helping out. And there's some, things about cooking in here. So they has all the elements of like, cooking and food type manga stuff, as well as action and adventure, and as well as some nudity. So there's just a lot of fun elements and things that in some mangas that you might enjoy, or animes, guys. So like this might be something that is worth checking out. And it, like I said, not a huge commitment. It's only 3 volumes. I did have a lot of fun reading it. There was just that one caveat where I'm just like, yeah, I don't know about that one, but anyways, otherwise, yeah, Crazy Food Truck, not bad. All right, and then you got Chainsaw Man Volume 11, which I guess concludes season 1 or whatever you want to call it of Chainsaw Man. Like, I guess there's going to be, I think it's already being, like, I think it was on like hiatus after this volume in Japan for some time now, but now because we are very behind in the releases when it gets translated and brought out over here, I think he just recently started back up on the weekly serials of the Chainsaw Man and the manga magazines in Japan. So we probably won't get any more volumes until the new year, I would say at this point. But this kind of concludes the storyline that they were telling at this point in time, and gives them a bit of a breather, I think, to recharge and come back with some more of this book because it's very popular. So to find out that it will be continuing, I'm happy about because it's just batshit crazy and a lot of fun and good and great art. And I do look forward to more about this. Like, again, I can't even tell you what the hell happened in this one. It's hard to describe, but every time I do read this one, I do really enjoy it. This was no different, and I'm looking forward to more when we do get them. Most likely, I would say in 2023. They've just started back up with more new Chainsaw Man stories recently this past month, apparently in Japan. All right, so there you go, Chainsaw Man Volume 11. And then we got Witch Hat Atelier, Volume 9 or Atelier. I don't know ever how to pronounce that, but this is a really fun series as well with great art. This is printed by Kodansha, chapters 46 to 51 of this manga in here. And yeah, great artwork. It's kind of like, magical world of wizards. It's definitely like Harry Potter-ish. There is a school for these wizards and a society and a world that these people live in, although they, rub shoulders with the humans as well to help and serve them as well. But they do have their own kind of hierarchy and kind of and world and different people that they have to report to and look up to, these wizards as well. And the interesting thing about this though is that these wizards cast spells by drawing them. So that's the big twist on the whole usual wizard story, I guess, where you're casting spells. And this one, in order to be a successful wizard, you actually got to know how to draw, and there's different things that you can draw that you can bring to life or combine drawings of in order to complete spells. So it's something that they have to hone their craft of over time, essentially. So it is interesting. I do like this always. It's always a lot of fun. The artwork's great. And yeah, I'm going to continue with this one. Always have a lot of fun checking these out. And then we got Fist of the North Star, Volume 5. Another book that's always a whole hell of a lot of fun for me. These hardcovers are great that they've been coming out with, and I hope the whole series comes out like this. And I'm sure they already got the next couple volumes solicited, so I mean I don't think there's any signs of them slowing down, pumping these out every couple months. But I really like these. Fantastic artwork throughout, ridiculous fighting type stuff going on in the air. Again, this is a post-apocalyptic thing set in a Mad Max type world, same type of deal. He just, this guy, encounters all kinds of badass dudes along his travels. Tries to help the weak and the people that are being wronged by these horrible folks that he comes across. And yeah, that's what he does. He just whoops everybody's ass. And there's always like a fun, ridiculous fight that goes down with great artwork to boot. And yeah, I enjoy the experience every time reading these. And this one, you meet one of his other brothers. We've been meeting all his brothers, and he was imprisoned, I guess, in this volume, and he has to help him out. And um, you know, but then like every town they come across or new bad guy they come across presents their own kind of set of fighting styles and unique problems that they have to encounter as a result of this next fight, these next showdowns that they. And there's a guy from his past that's like a bad dude that he was reintroduced to in this volume. So Kenshiro, I think, is his name. So it's crazy. But again, he always ends up fucking them up because he's Fist of the North Star. So yeah, really, really fun as always. All right, and lastly on the manga front, we got Blade of the Immortal Deluxe Edition Volume 6, the newest of these deluxe edition hardcovers from Dark Horse Comics that comes out. And these each collect about 3 volumes of the original volumes of the manga. So, 6, that's 9, 12, 15. So, yeah, this is probably volume 16 to 18, I would say. These are always really nice. Got the ribbon in there. And it does tell you which volumes. Yeah, so 16. Actually, I think this one collects 4, if I'm not mistaken. This might collect 16 to 19. This was a little bit bigger, I think, than the other volumes. I think this collected 4 volumes all in all, if I'm not mistaken. I'll just double check on that for you guys, but I think that's the case. Yeah, volume 19. So a lot of the other volumes I think have been releasing with 3 volumes. Maybe like there isn't like an even number of volumes that came out by threes for them to do these editions. So maybe that's why this one has 4. So it's a little bit fatter than the others. But yeah, this was great. I mean, I really enjoy this story. They've definitely have gone all over the place in terms of having like a wide cast of characters in this. Like this is, I mean, the actual dude, the Blade of the Immortal guy, like we haven't even seen him for a few volumes, honestly, like or barely. And they've kind of been bouncing around to like the cast of characters that they've kind of built up over this whole period of time. And this was he's been imprisoned in this volume, and there's a guy experimenting with the fact that this Blade of the Immortal guy, when he gets cut, or he gets an arm or a limb, something cut off, he like regenerates it back and he doesn't die, and he's like cursed with this thing that he can't actually be killed, and he can't have an arm cut off without it coming back. And so they imprison him, and there's like some evil scientist type shit going on in this one where they're trying to like um have this become something that they can use with their own people. Like, so he like cuts off his arm and cuts off the other dude's arm, and the doctor tries to like sew his arm onto his, and trying to see if like it would then regenerate as a result of that. And he's just doing all this crazy experimentation stuff while they have him imprisoned in this one. So that